Hello and welcome back to the Atmosphere's Electric. There's Fran, I'm Rich. How are you, dude?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. You?
Doing all right, mate. Doing all right. We're not allowed to talk about cricket, so we need to move on. Luckily, this isn't a cricket podcast, so we move on.
Well, let's talk. We talk about cricket with one word: rubbish.
That's kind. That's kind. That's very kind. Disgraceful would be more where I'd go with it, but we'll move on.
Shambolic.
And we had an okay week last week. You've just been telling me we did all right.
So we did all right on our £5 challenges. We both landed one, which I think is possibly the first time ever we might have done that. Both landed a £5 challenge. So yeah, you landed your banker. I didn't again, which is just standard practice now. But yeah, you got 5 out of 10. I got 4. Luckily for me, I put those 3 of those 4 in my £5 challenge. So happy days.
Yeah, good work. Good work. It feels like it's been quite quiet, doesn't it, between kind of last week in terms of scandal, in terms of drama. It's certainly English football, obviously in Scotland, maybe not so much, but it's quite interesting that there's not a lot of drama going on currently. Maybe this is the calm before the transfer window storm.
I was just about to say that, whether the transfer window is eating up some of the general stories that you get. I think there's a lot of clubs that need a lot of business doing. So you'd imagine a lot of the head scouts, directors of footballs are all heads in boxes and books and reports trying to find the right players for their club. I think you're dead right that when it does hit January, I think you're going to see some whirlwinds.
And what that does, it sets us up nicely, as if by magic, for the first game of the weekend with a team that needs to go into the market in Newcastle with their injury crisis getting worse by the minute, and Chelsea, who we know will be in there regardless of whether they need players or not. This is a really interesting way to start off the game week, isn't it?
It is. I think one of the interesting things for me in general about teams is there's a lot of teams need a lot of players, but I'd say most of the Premier League need to get rid of some players. So therefore that might open opportunity for other teams to buy them. So I do think you're going to see one of the busiest Januaries because so many teams need to sell players and also buy them. So yeah, and on the Newcastle Chelsea game, I think this is a great game. Newcastle generally have been stronger at home. Chelsea, you just don't know what Chelsea you're going to get. Although Cole Palmer back, I think makes a huge difference for them. So I think this has got the potential to be game of the game week.
Yeah, I think obviously Dan Burn and what looked like Tino Livramento being out for a long while. I could be wrong on that, by the way. I've not the beat. When he went off midweek, it looked like a reoccurrence of the knee injury. I think they're just going to be too light defensively, mate. I think they're just going to be missing too many players for Chelsea that are hot and cold, but when they're hot, they are hot.
Yeah, you just can't predict Chelsea at all, can you? I mean, when I'm looking at the odds, 7-4 Newcastle, I wouldn't fancy that really. I don't know if I'd fancy Chelsea at 29-20. So I mean, I could tell you where my money's going. It's going on the draw. I think Newcastle at home are a bit different. I think they will set up defensively to try and stifle Chelsea early doors, and it all depends on what Chelsea turn up. So I've gone 2-2.
I've gone 1-2. I think with those big players missing, I think with Chelsea, needing a couple of good performances, back-to-back performances, like I say with Cole Palmer coming back, he hasn't really that doesn't feel to me like he's reached the levels that he was at before, last season. So for me, this is a big game. Great way to start the weekend. But for me, this is going to be an away win, 2-1 Chelsea.
Can we just ask how Cole Palmer seems to be getting? I don't know what the team was, but it was like a FIFA Pro 11, whatever it was. He got into that. He's not played in months.
Yeah, if I'm honest with you, mate, I don't know. I don't know when they start and when they finish. I don't understand the logic. I don't know who votes for these things.
I
don't
really care about it. I don't take much notice, but when it pops up on your Twitter feed and you see the team, I looked at some of them and I thought, how's he got in? And even I've slated Van Dijk, but I thought there's been better centre halves around than Van Dijk this calendar year.
100%. 100%. Completely. Well, as we found out the other week, didn't we, when we mentioned that, and apparently people didn't like it. Like I say, I think we'll find out kind of what Chelsea turns up. That's we'll bring it back to the game. The first thing to find is what Chelsea turn up. To be fair, what Newcastle turn up. This could be either end of the scale, and it could be really attacking. You look at the players at Newcastle; they've got all their attacking options available now that Whistler's back. Although I think he's actually gone to the Cup of Nations, isn't he? But Chelsea should have enough. Although Chelsea's missing a couple of defenders. Well, this could be a high-scoring game, but a great way to start off the game week. And not a great trip for those Chelsea fans with a 12:30 kickoff. And it's amazing how many 12:30 kickoffs in Newcastle get. But anyway, we'll move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs because it's another unusual game week. There's 2 8 o'clock Saturday kickoffs, but only one game on Sunday. I'm not quite sure what the logic is there, really, other than Christmas being around the corner. But
they have been spread out, haven't they, the games throughout the Saturday, which, to be honest, is quite nice. I mean, the old Saturday 3 o'clock has disappeared, but at least they are spread out over the Saturday. So one game on a Sunday is a bit strange, but nice to see them all on a Saturday. It's a throwback fixture.
So we go to Bournemouth-Burnley, 3 o'clock kickoff. Bournemouth, I suppose, still probably bouncing a little bit off the back of the impressive 4-4 draw with Man United, and could have, should have, would have won it. With the best 2 chances, or the last 2 chances of the game as well. Burnley feel like they're just starting to peter out a little bit. So for me, this is a pretty straightforward one, to be honest.
Yeah, I've gone Bournemouth 3, Burnley 1. I'm giving Burnley a little bit more credit because they are scoring the odd goal, which I think when you look at their team, it just doesn't suggest that they've got goals in it, but they are scoring. They just can't turn any of the fixtures even into a point. Like, they're struggling just to draw, aren't they? So I agree. I mean, as bad as Bournemouth have been, and I know United aren't a yardstick to sort of look at, but they went to Old Trafford, scored 4. I thought they played really well. They did look vulnerable defensively, which is why I'm giving Burnley a goal. But I think from what I saw on the evidence of when they played United, I think Bournemouth are starting to turn a corner. That goal for Semenyo and the other striker, what's his name?
Oh, Krupi.
No, I mean, but he scored. Krupi, yeah, but then there's the starting striker as well. He scored as well, so they've got 2 strikers in the goal. Semenyo also scored, so I think that'll do their confidence the world of good. So I agree. I think this is a banker of a home win.
I don't see Burnley scoring. I've gone 2-0. I think Bournemouth will use that as a springboard again. Semenyo playing for that move that everybody thinks is coming in January. It's just a case of where is he going. I think is more of the output here. And I think that will be the domino that actually start. Quite often these transfer windows need someone to get it started, and I think he'll be the one that gets it started because everyone knows what the fee is. I'd imagine it's already, to be honest, I'd imagine it's already been done in the background. But Bournemouth coming in with 65 million quid will help them go and strengthen their team in other areas as well. And I think that will kickstart it. But yeah, for me, this is a comfortable home win.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if it's that or the Guehi transfer that starts the ball rolling.
That one's harder to do because what do you value him at as a Palace? As a Palace chairman, you're going to want big money. Guehi's going to want to make sure he gets the best deal possible because in the summer he's going on free. Whereas Semenyo, and again, I'm only going for everyone. He's got a release clause of 65 million. Once you've paid it, it's just up to him to choose where he goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the only thing you can say about the Guehi one is the fact that Liverpool will be desperate, you'd imagine, to try and get that done. May mean that, if they quoted 30 million, Liverpool might, rather than bulk it might just go, we'll have to. So yeah, but I think that you're right, those 2 transfers do seem to be the obvious ones that could kickstart the January window.
2 teams that probably won't be that active, I imagine, are Brighton and Sunderland. Not saying they don't need to be. I mean, Sunderland are obviously missing a load of players to AFCON, which is, again, it feels a weird time of year to start that just before Christmas. But anyway, AFCON has decimated the Sunderland squad, if not the team. But again, I think 4 of the starters from last weekend's North East Derby are going. So that drastically changes my opinion of this game and where it ends up being. It's a shame, isn't it, for Sunderland that they've had so many players taken away from them when they're doing so well.
I was not aware of that fact, so I have now just changed my prediction. I did have this down as 1-1 because at this minute in time, unless Sunderland play, a top team, I mean, they drew against Arsenal, but I can't see them losing games. I think they're so solid defensively. Dan Ballard is an absolute rock at the back. But if you're saying 4 of the starting 11 are out, I mean, that has to change your opinion. So I have gone from a 1-1 to a 2-1 Brighton win now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got. That's exactly what I've got. Yeah, I can't see Okay, so they've got one player, Diarra's available to play before leaving for AFCON, so it might not be four, but they're definitely missing a load. So for me, I'm still going to stick with Brighton because I think at home Brighton are a pretty solid option.
Even just two out of the starting 11, like so, as good as Sunderland have been, they're on an evolution and they've not got the level of squad to be able to cope with, injuries, suspensions, 4 players for AFCON. That's going to mean it's very, very tough for them for the next few weeks. I think a lot of Sunderland fans will be probably praying that a few of those countries get knocked out in the group stages.
And unless you're from one of those countries, I think that's the case with every fan in every, like, same for if there was a World Cup in the middle of the city, this isn't an effort, like you would just want your players to be back as quickly as possible or not pick up injuries as quickly as possible. I just think that there's got to be a way that we can make this work in the calendar a bit better because, like I say, Sunderland are not lucky. Sunderland have done a very good job of being in the position they're in. But if they were down the bottom of the league for scrapping for their lives, to lose that many players could be a real problem for them.
100%, and it doesn't actually. I think there's quite a few managers out there that I'm sure I've heard before that Pep Guardiola refuses to sign African players now because of the AFCON. I know he's had African players, but I don't think it would put you off, wouldn't it? Really, if you've got 2 players of the same ability, one's English, one's Ghanaian, as an example. If you're going to lose one for a period of time, you go with the English lad. Like it just makes no sense, really. You're just devaluing the African players, which is not good, is it? Really, you need those. You need every player to have the same opportunity.
Yeah, like I say, there must be a way of, even if you run it at the same time as the Euros, because they're obviously different continents.
It's got a bit. Why can't they run it in the summer like every other nation?
Unless it's a heat thing, unless it's because it's too hot. I don't know. I don't get it. But I suppose people that paid a lot more than us will work it out. But it's a shame, and it's going to be a shame for some. I think it's going to be a tough Christmas for some. So yeah, 2-1 Brighton. What did you get for again? Sorry,
2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. Same again. Snappy snap. Okay, Man City host West Ham United. West Ham are showing some signs of recovery. I think they've been a little bit unlucky with what the teams around them are doing as well. So obviously they're not climbing up the league because Forest picking up wins, etc., etc. But for me, this is going to be a step too far for this West Ham team, and I don't see them laying too many gloves on Manchester City, if I'm honest.
No, I agree. I think this is the banker of the game week, but at 1-5, you just can't put that up as a banker. I've gone 3-0 City. I can't see how, like you said, West Ham lay a glove on them. 100% though, I think you're right to highlight West Ham picked up and they are starting to pick up points. And the question is are they going to be good enough to catch those teams around them? But the good news for them is they are picking up. This isn't a game for them to pick up the results. They need to go, like we said last week with Villa, gave them a good game, didn't pick up any points, but they need to be targeting other teams. And I agree with you, step too far, just try and get out of here with keeping your goal difference intact and then focus on the next game week.
Yes, and to be fair to everybody, like Man City, other than Arsenal and Liverpool, isn't really a yardstick anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a free hit for West Ham. You're not expecting 100%. To pick up points here. You never in any season. This is not a this season problem. It's an every season problem. So, in many ways, hopefully they go with a bit of freedom. If anybody can, you think about the sort of teams that have caused Man City trouble in the past. It's those teams that bank up. Nick a goal, Jarrod Bowen. Nuno done it himself. I seem to remember him. One of his first games at Spurs was against Man City, and they got a lucky win against Man City. So if anybody could do it, it's a Nuno type team. But for me, Man City just got too many strings, too many options, and they're going to be, whether it's Shirky, whether it's Marmoush, whether it's Foden, whether it's Doku's having in the form of his life, and of course with Haaland down the middle. I just think they're going to have too many options.
I think that's the thing to highlight with Man City. They have been, the past 6 weeks they've been very consistent, but previous to that they were quite inconsistent, and that's because Peter Shirky was out injured for a while. Foden was out injured at the beginning of the season, so they haven't had those options. But now, when you look at their bench, they've got some unbelievable talent now sitting on the bench. Like I say, Doku doesn't play every single game. I think he would play for every other team in the league at the minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just they've got some unbelievable talent, and you got Phil Foden back on form, Haaland in the form of his life. Reinders, I think, is starting to pick up the pace of the league, and he's starting to look like the player they thought that they'd bought. He's been very, very hit and miss. So yeah, I mean, for Arsenal, who do look a little bit shaky at the minute, I say they don't seem to be on top form, and they're picking up the wins. Man City seem to be hitting that not purple patch of form, but that consistency that they used to do. They used to motor through the middle of the season, win, win, win. It looked like they could be picking up that level of form again, and some of the players are starting to work into the Man City style. So it's worrying signs if you're an Arsenal fan.
Completely agree. And we'll come on to them in a minute. But yeah, completely agree. I think it's, like I say, Man City is starting to get, if they can stay injury free, again, so everybody in Arsenal will tell us that that's their problem because they keep picking up injuries. I think that the difference, the points difference disappearing. I know it's disappeared quite a lot, but I see it going by the new year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very tight come January. For someone that's not very tight is Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course.
What score did you have? Sorry.
3-1.
3-1. I've gone 3-0.
For Wolves, you kind of look at what they did against Arsenal and you think, oh my God, that was such an amazing effort. But they still found a way to lose that game, didn't they? They still managed to.
Yeah, I had so they cost me my banker, which I was convinced was an absolute banker. However, so after it sort of lost, I reflected on the game and I thought Wolves put in a hell of a shift there. From what I saw against them and Man United, I thought you are the worst team to ever grace the Premier League. I thought they put in a hell of an effort, and I was a bit disappointed, really. I wasn't from our £5 challenge perspective, but they put in such an effort, and I thought, when you've got 2 points at the bottom of the league, to then go and lose like that is a double kick in the balls, isn't it? So I was disappointed for them, but I think they've got to take hope from that. They've got to build confidence from the performance they put against, Arsenal, who are at the minute the best team in the league. If they don't take confidence from that, then what else can you do from it? You may as well just literally down tools now. And that was what I thought they'd done in the Manchester United game. I thought they'd down tools as a club and just accepted the fate. I think this is an interesting game, though. I think they've got to take hope from that game. If they can't think that they can take something from this Brentford game, like we say, I think we all think that they're playing for pride and to not break an unwanted record. I don't think anyone truly believes they can stay up. I think they have to go and take something from this game. I've gone 1-1.
I like everything you've just said, but fundamentally, they still found a way to lose that game. And, two really, crap goals to give away, for want of a better word. I just think that would be as much of a blow as losing 4-0, if not more of a blow, because they really, the way they came back into the game, and
it's hard to pick them up from that, isn't it? When you're so close to getting a point,
I think it's going to be very difficult, and I think almost Brentford again. They're a bit like a carrot where you think, oh, we can beat Brentford, and then people forget that actually they're pretty decent, and so actually you come into this game with a different level of you went to Arsenal, kind of in a rear guard, or we're in this together. It's a massive problem. But Brentford at home, you're thinking you're going to win, or you're thinking you can win, and I think that's going to leave them open to Brentford winning. I think this is going to be 2-1 Brentford.
Yeah, I think the smart money is probably on a Brentford win. Like you said, I agree with everything you just said there. He's going to have to, in some sense, Rob Edwards, is have a go. He's going to have a go, isn't he? Well, you may as well just accept your fate. And I think that does exactly what they tried to do at United and leaves them wide open. They just get carved through. My hope for the game and for Wolves is that they basically take that style of play from Arsenal and just do that every single game, rear guard defensively and try and hit teams on the break. And that's the hope of picking up points. So I say I'll stick with 1-1, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Brentford win. And I think value-wise, they're better than even money at the minute. It's not a bad shout.
Well, spoiler alert, they're in my £5 challenge. I've gone a little bit racy this week for my £5 challenge to try and put some money back in my Christmas coffer. So I've gone a bit racy, but yeah, Brentford, without confidence, are in my £5 challenge. Another team that would be in my £5 challenge would be Liverpool, who travel to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in their annual collection of 3 points from Tottenham. Having said that, is this the least exciting, impressive time these two have played each other in the last 10 years? It feels like both of these teams are just god awful currently.
Yeah, I have Liverpool in my £5 challenge, and I swore I wouldn't, but I think against this Spurs team, with where they are, with the feeling around the club and the manager at the minute, Liverpool have had a mini revival. Taking out Salah seems to have done the trick. I know he came on pretty much instantly where somebody got injured, didn't they? Said to come on, but they've had that mini revival. It's that kick up the arse, I think, of dropping Salah has made the difference. I think Liverpool will have too much for Spurs. I really fear for them in this fixture. So I've gone Spurs 0, Liverpool 2. Like you said, that's a game where I'd have previously liked to have watched this game. Spurs for me of the past few years have always been able to put it up to some of the big boys where they've taken them a little bit for granted. I can't see that being the case in this game.
No. I mean, the Nottingham Forest defeat last week, the manner of it, the goals they conceded, the supposed corner they'd turned, having picked up a couple of sort of half-decent results, was a real pop of the bubble of where Spurs were going. I think, again, at home they've been disastrous. You think about the fan base on a Saturday evening. If Liverpool go 1 or 2 like that could become a real toxic place to be. They're not selling out anymore. The fans are starting to turn away because they're not being entertained. So, it's a very, very interesting time. And I think, and if you remember on here, I said that I don't see Spurs picking up any more points before the new year. If they didn't beat Nottingham Forest last weekend. I don't see Tottenham picking up any more points before the new year. And I think that could be the end of Thomas Frank if that is the case. But for me, this is Tottenham 1, being kind, giving them 1. Liverpool 3. I think this will be very comfortable. Liverpool got way too much quality. Tottenham after it.
Yeah, for me, I think this could be the defining game of Frank's Spurs managerial career. And I don't mean that in the sense of, you have to go and beat Liverpool because it's a hard task. I think it's the manner of the performance. If they get beat 2 or 3-0, hardly have a kick of the ball, don't look like score, have an XG of 0.01 that they have done previously in games, I think Spurs pull the trigger because you can't. There's managers out there, as an example, Rob Edwards, getting battered every week. I know he's only just come in, but you could see what they were trying to do against Arsenal. You can clearly see in the game the week before, they've done training, they've led up with a game plan. You can't see what Thomas Frank is trying to do with Spurs. I honestly couldn't tell you whether he's trying to defend and everyone sit in, because it's not like they're doing that. They're doing dribs and drabs, a few run forward, a few press, a few sit back. I think this could be the game he actually goes. If Liverpool batter Spurs, and Spurs, the manner of the defeat is terrible, I think it could be the game he goes.
I think you're living on very long time. The thing that surprised me about all of this is that when Thomas Frank was at Brentford, they seemed to be able to play a different shape, subtle sometimes, but different shapes, different tactics every week. I don't think he's got, like you just said there, his core fundamental tactic in place yet. He's been there 6 months. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's horrific. It's just so far off of it, Yeah.
You look back at Ange. I mean, he's just been employed somewhere, hasn't he? He's just gone to a club. Is he in China?
Somewhere? I thought that was a wind-up. I wasn't sure whether that was true or not.
I saw it. I just assumed it was true. But I mean, going back to Ange, at least there was an identity, and Spurs fans, even they knew that they were going to be entertained from an aspect. That Spurs would give it a go. They had no defence apart from the real back end where he decided to go defensive. But at least there was an identity there. You could see what he was trying to do. And results meant that he had to. But you can't see what Thomas Frank's trying to do here. Like, there is no identity. And this just leads me back to the question of when you're taking managers out of clubs who are ran really well, is it the system? I think we've said this before, Graham Potter coming out of Brighton, Frank coming out of Brentford. Now, the manager coming into Brighton, what's his name? The Irish guy, into Brentford, sorry.
Keith Andrews.
No experience, but has dropped in and started doing really well. Is it the system that's just allowing managers to come in and learn quite easily and flourish? To me, it looks like it has to be. Like, taking those managers out might not be the way forward for teams going forward.
What I don't understand is if a system works well here, i.e. Brentford, why not implement that system there? And at least then I think the Spurs fans will go, okay, we understand where we're going. We understand what you're trying to do. We can be on board with it. We're going to lose some games. We're going to win some games. It's a project. We know you need at least more than one transfer window. There doesn't seem to be any kind of logic to it at all. It's an absolute disaster. By the way, Ange Postecoglou is still unemployed. He is not.
Still in. It was false then. Okay. Well, going back to Thomas Frank, there was a period that he was touted around a lot of teams, and he was touted for my team at one point. When Brendan Rodgers was in and around the sack, there was rumours that Thomas Frank come to Leicester. I'd have loved that.
Yep.
But now you look at it and you go, he looks so out of his depth.
Yep.
Like it's when he was hired by Spurs, everyone said, "Oh, what a great appointment! It's exactly what they need, a project builder." Just hasn't gone well, and he just looks at his depth, and I just go, I can't see how he brings it back. He doesn't look like he's got the know-how. It's really frustrating watching it, especially if you are a Spurs fan. Like having I saw one of the games had genuine XG of 0.01. Like you can't get behind that.
I think that was a Chelsea game, I think, or Arsenal, one of the two, or both probably. But yeah, no, like I say, he's absolutely made a right rod for himself, and you're quite right. This could be it. Every week now. Again, my Spurs friends, they're like, I can't believe he's still in the job. Can't believe he's still in the job. They're just waiting for the moment. So, and of course, it doesn't help with what Arsenal are doing in terms of where they're at and how sort of structurally set up they seem, which leads us nicely on to a game that I think is going to be very tricky for Arsenal. Very tricky for Arsenal. I think this is a very difficult assignment because of all the teams that can maybe handle set plays. Is Everton. I think this could be quite an interesting, gritty, low-scoring affair, this one.
You want my score?
Go on.
Everton 0, Arsenal 1. I have gone for a low-scoring game. I can't see Arsenal carving Everton open. I could see Everton scoring, but I think Arsenal their game plan will be to go to Everton, to sit in defensively, ensure that chances aren't given. They were very open, even against Wolves, I thought. I thought a couple of occasions. One time they hit them on the break, they had no men back, Arsenal. I was really surprised by it. So I think Arteta will drill them differently for this game, and I can see them going there for a clean sheet and to nick one. And I don't think you're going to see many goals in this game. I think if you are going to see goals, they might come from Everton.
Okay, that leads us nicely onto my prediction of Everton 1, Arsenal 1. I think this is the type of fixture that I would not want just before Christmas. Tough away fixture, strange time, kick-off Saturday night. At theirs as well, the fan base there when they're in the game. Like I say, I've only seen the Everton fan base tap out twice this season, which was Spurs and Newcastle. If Everton stay in the game, it's a feisty place to go. They've got a good record at home, barring those two fixtures I just mentioned, and I think this could be, based on the trouble that Wolves caused Arsenal and showed the blueprint of how to play against Arsenal. When you look at what Everton have got on the break in terms of, I know some people don't like it, but Doy, I think this is a type of team that could cause Arsenal a real headache.
Yeah, and when I said you could see the goals from Everton, and I predicted 0-1. I think if anyone is going to see goals, this is a really tricky fixture. The way that Arsenal have played recently, I can't see them scoring goals. They are heavily reliant on Saka to do something magical at the minute, heavily reliant. And Everton, their form has picked up. They look good. I think, I've not checked the form, but they were good at home. I think they've lost the past few and have rocked a little bit at home. But when that ground does get going, you heard it on the opening few weeks. It's a very good ground for atmosphere. So if Everton take the lead, I can't see Arsenal, coming back well. I could see them, getting an equalising, like you said, 1-1. But it's a very tricky game for them.
Yeah, it really is. One small point from me on Arsenal. I completely get why Eze went to Arsenal. I completely get why Arsenal Eze. I feel like he hasn't picked the wrong team because he's going to win trophies there, so I get it. But I just think stylistically, he doesn't, for me, the way I want to watch him play, with a smile, with a little bit of artistic freedom and space to move, I feel like Arsenal is actually the wrong team for him stylistically. Like he's in a system, although Crystal Palace had a system. I just felt like it suited him more. Like I feel like I've lost the joy of watching him. He's a player that's always made me smile. I just love watching him. I feel like at the moment he just looks like he could be you or me, and then he gets the ball, gives the ball, gets the ball, gives the ball. He's like, I don't know, maybe that's harsh, but that's just my gut feeling of I get why he's there. He's an Arsenal fan. I get he's going to win loads of trophies there. So amazing. But I just feel like he's, I don't know, not quite got that je ne sais quoi.
To be honest, though, do you know when I look around the Premier League, I don't know. Like, there's not a team. You know, like last season we praised PSG because they were fluid, and you had that ability of the wingers to just get the ball, drive inside, outside. There was no structure to it. It was quite free flowing, but it was off the cuff. There isn't really a team in the Premier League that has that style at the minute that is free flowing. So I mean, Man City have been playing well, but it is very structured and rigid of what they do. There is a bit more license for a Doku now to go and get the ball and run at his fullback, but it still is very structured of how they play. Like, there isn't a team in the Premier League that it has that excitement about them at the minute. Like, there's not many games that I sit here and, in this game week where I go, oh, that could be a good game. Even last week, Sunderland Newcastle was the game of the game week because it was a local derby for years, not because of the football, which, I think the game proved that. So, yeah, there's not many teams in the Premier League that I turn on the game and go, oh, I can't wait to watch them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, it's I love Eze. I just feel like I feel like I'm missing something from him when he's not doing what I've sort of grown up watching him do. And yeah, I used to watch him at QPR, and was it Reading? Maybe both. Was that Elise was at Reading, wasn't it?
Lisa, yeah.
I think, you look at what he's doing at Bayern Munich, he's playing with that freedom, he's doing some really exciting stuff. I just think that maybe Arsenal, if Arsenal win the league this year, they'll be able to play with a bit more freedom because they are obviously doing everything in their power to win the league, obviously, but what I'm saying? They're definitely built up for a reason. So maybe once they've got that kind of off their backs, they'll be able to kick on. I was very surprised to see Crystal Palace playing on Saturday night. They just played last night. Why could that not be Sunday? Why could that not be Sunday at 2:00? I don't understand why that needs to be Saturday night. Unless I'm missing something about Sunday. Is there some big game going on somewhere else at 2:00 on Sunday that we can't have any games on? Why is this game Saturday night?
I've got absolutely no idea. And you know what? I didn't even clock that. So I'm going to say that I have Palace as my banker of the week.
No chance.
But now you've said that worries me. I am going to stick with it because I think Palace will have too much for Leeds. Leeds have picked up 100%, but Palace are a very good side. Mateta is back playing as well. At 7-4, I just thought that was value. And my bankers have been stinking anyway, going for favourites. So I thought I may as well. So I've gone for Palace, but I don't say it with any confidence. But yeah, I mean, that makes no sense to me. How can you play on Thursday night, Thursday night?
Thursday night, last night.
Yeah, and then be asked to play Saturday. That's ridiculous.
And they've got the quarter final next week as well. So for me, this is just bonkers. I don't get it. I don't, like I say, I haven't done the research into why Sunday is so clear. But for me, it does change. I know that Crystal Palace made some changes last night. Obviously, it wasn't a great result for them last night, which means they've got actually more fixtures because they're now in the playoffs. I've gone Leeds United 2, Crystal Palace 1. I think this is a game that the resurgent Leeds have got a real good chance of winning. The two up front, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, absolutely bang back in form, which is great to see. I think this will be a home win, but a tight game.
I have just had to change my prediction and my banker because, yeah, I'm not having that now. Now you've said those things, you've changed my mind. So you've ruined my £5 challenge. You've ruined my banker. Thank you very much. I've gone 1-1.
That's what we're here for, Fran, to give people the inside scoop. Yeah, interestingly, I've put Leeds in my £5 challenge as well, so that I'm building this up for you. I've got Brentford and Leeds, so you can imagine how much this is going to return from a fiver so far. It's looking good. Although there's only one game on Sunday, looks like on paper this looks like a great game. Aston Villa are absolutely banging form, in the Premier League title race against Manchester United, who could be anything. Again, Manchester United are missing, for me, two key players with the AFCON. Brian Mbeumo and Ahmad both going is a big miss for Manchester United. So for me, taking all that into account, I am going for a home win, but I've been so impressed with Aston Villa. They just find different ways to win. It doesn't seem to matter if they're missing the goalkeeper, they're missing player X, Y. They just seem to keep finding ways of winning football matches, which is a fantastic place to be, isn't it?
It is a fantastic place to be. I don't think Villa have played well, though. So I know there's somebody I know who's a Villa fan who said they've not played well, but they are finding ways, which I think obviously is the sign of a good team. On occasion, though, when I have watched Villa, some of the passages of play I've seen have been brilliant. So that 20 minutes at the end of the game against Arsenal, they absolutely dominated. I thought they were a bit fortunate against West Ham. But again, you find a way to win. It's a sign of a good team. You mentioned United. Those two players missing for them is massive. They have not got the squad whatsoever. Like, if I said who's going to replace Mbeumo,
Mason Mount.
Yeah, but he's been playing well down the middle, hasn't he? Really? Like you're going to have to put the striker in. What's his name? Big tall lad. Sesko's going to have to go in the 9, and Mount's going to have to go on the wing. And Mount's not a winger. He's just not a winger. He's not going to cause the same level of attacking output as what Mbeumo does. So yeah, I've gone Villa 1, United Villa 2, United 1. Sorry.
Yeah, I've gone 3-1. I think this could be a real opportunity for them to lay a kind of a brick in the foundation of. Again, if my other predictions come in, we're going to have Arsenal on 37 points, Man City on 37 points, Aston Villa on 36 points, and Chelsea on 31 points. All of a sudden, what felt like there was no title race at all 3 weeks ago now becomes a 3-horse race, which would be really exciting for the neutral.
100%, and that's what we were saying last game week and the one before that. It just seemed like Arsenal were going to run away with it. We're just going to keep 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, and just notching up victories. Not very exciting, and we'd be in with 2 of the bottom 3 already down, and the Premier League sewn up. Whereas at the minute, it still looks like it might be 2 of the bottom 3, but at least the title race is alive and kicking.
Yeah, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Thank God. And again, makes the Christmas football period even more entertaining. And like I say, as the neutral, we just need to have things to keep us hooked and keep coming back to it. Otherwise, it becomes very dull very quickly. Another game that's very difficult to predict. Fulham with probably the most informed player in the Premier League in Wilson, host Nottingham Forest, fresh off the back of their thumping of Spurs, Monday Night Football. This is a difficult one, isn't
it? It is a very difficult one. I didn't realise how informed Wilson was, by the way. I've checked every single fantasy team that I have, and everyone has him except me. I didn't realise. I had no idea he was flying the way he is. But yeah, I mean, Fulham have gone from struggling for goals to all of a sudden banging them in for fun. Forest, on the other hand, they under Dyche, you'd think that they struggle for goals. They're scoring as well. So I've gone 2-2. I think this could be a really good game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think again, it's one of them game weeks that if West Ham playing Man City kind of probably gives both of these teams a bit of a free hit in the sense that you'd be looking at it going, right, if we can win, we're going to be at least 7, if not 8 or more points away from West Ham United in the bottom 3. If Leeds beat Crystal Palace, like I've said they might do, all of a sudden that gap for West Ham becomes big. So this is where the swings could happen. If West Ham were to get a win against Man City, that would be absolute gold, of course. But I think for Nottingham Forest, off the back of that comfortable win, they look defensively sound. They look like they've got some full players coming back. So I have actually just tipped towards Forest, and they're the 3rd team to make up my £5 challenge.
Okay.
I've gone Fulham 1, Forest 2, or Nottingham Forest 2. Apologies. I think that.
How much is your £5 challenge paying? It's got to pay about $3,000.
No, it's 75 quid from a fiver. It's only those 3 teams. But it's not bad though. I'm happy with that. It could get me back into the profit. And it could get me back into the profit.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about my. So your £5 challenge has 3 teams. Mine has 4, and not one team that we have is the same.
Yeah, I've gone a bit rascal on mine. I agree. I don't. Obviously, I just think there's an opportunity in there in the sense that, like I say, Palace playing Thursday night. Brentford playing Wolves. I just think that there's some opportunity. But yeah, I've gone Fulham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. What did you go? Oh, you went 2 or 2-2?
I've gone 2-2.
2-2. Good stuff. Okay, well that leads us nicely on to your £5 challenge, Frank. So where have you gone?
So I've gone banker Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Villa, and then my actual banker is Liverpool. I've changed from Palace to Liverpool, so I've took Palace out completely. So yeah, I've gone Liverpool for my banker, and then £5 challengers: City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Villa, and it pays £43.
Not bad for them teams, is it?
No.
So nice Brentford Leeds Nottingham Forest. It pays £74.31 from a £5. And I have also gone with Liverpool as my banker of the weekend at 21-20. I think that is too good to turn down. I think Man City are actually the bank of the weekend, but like you rightly said, at 1-6, I'm not interested. So to try and make it a bit more financially viable.
I'm pleased you've tipped up Liverpool as you're the banker king. So I'm really sorry that I've probably cursed you.
But maybe between the pair of us, we'll nullify each other. As always, Frank, love that. Where can people find us? Where can people reach out and abuse us or pass on any compliments or anything else for that matter?
Compliments be nice, but yeah, you can send abuse. We're big boys, we can take it. You can listen to the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Social media, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and also TikTok.
Awesome. And of course, we're going to try and keep abreast of the Christmas period. But this is maybe something we should talk about off air, but maybe we could just bash out a couple at once, as in for a couple.
I'm off for 2 weeks now until the new year, so do one every day if you want.
Oof.
Every day.
My goodness gracious me. The family would love that, wouldn't they? Okay, we'll work it out. We'll get something together. But as always, mate, favourite hour of the week. Thank you very much, buddy. And we look forward to speaking to you soon.